In today's video, we will be talking about how Enzo Maresca has revolutionized Chelsea this season. Now, we have to give some credit, though, to Pochettino from last season because he obviously morphed this team in the right direction at the end of the season. Enzo Maresca coming in during the summer and taking advantage of that and then also taking them to the next level. Now, first off, though, let's look at the formation. Now, the formation themselves, typically we've been seeing a 4-2-3-1 with this team, but the team is really fluid. The other players do move throughout this entire area, and again, when you're looking at a 4-2-3-1, it's not always going to be that for the case. But what we first want to look at is the defense. This is one of the big takeaways we've noticed so far this season with Enzo Maresca, and that is having the pairing of Colwell and Fofana. Last season, Chelsea had a merry-go-round of defenders coming in and out all the time in the back line. The fact that Enzo Maresca has stuck with these two guys each and every game so far in the league itself speaks volume. This allows these players to communicate more and more, get a better understanding of how each one is going to pair, and also knowing where each player is going to be throughout the entire match. Both these players understand when they're defending, but also when they're attacking exactly what they need to do. And Sanchez is going to feel a little more confident with him, but obviously he still has his issues. But that being said, this is one of the big takeaways first off. The second thing is the right wing and left wing. Now, granted, we have seen Reece James come back in after being fit. So we've seen Gusto on this left side. We've seen Cucurella go to the bench. But what has been happening with this is that who's ever really typically playing that left side has pushed up into the midfield. Now, why this is really important is because this now overloads the attacking area. So now we're seeing almost a 3-2-4-1. You could argue that Neto pushes up or even Matawaki pushes up. And so then we're almost seeing something along these lines here. So we're seeing a 3-2-3-1 or 2. And therefore, again, multiple areas to attack. But why this is so important is because now in this area, there are multiple channels, especially Palmer, which we will talk about in just a second, to again make triangle passes, to again break down the defense, and therefore again find these little channels to again expose the defense, but also move the ball quickly and fastly, and therefore again create more opportunities to score goals. Now, if we back it up just a little bit, I'm going to bring Cucurella back down to this area. Then the next thing we need to look at is the midfield, and this is a big takeaway as well because the one thing that Enzo Maresca has done is bench Enzo Fernandez. He's brought in Lavia and Cancedo. These two players together make it very complete in that midfield because both players complement each other. They're very good defensively wise, so again, they can both defend very well in this area, but also if one wants to push up, the other one can hold that area and cover this entire spot. Now, whether that's Lavia or Cancedo, they both can go back and forth. It's like a gas pedal and brake. Which one wants to attack, the other one drops back. If the other one wants to go up, the other one drops back. And that being able to do that really does give the opportunity to work on the right side, the left side, or even overload one side with multiple players as well. And therefore, again, can really help winning the ball back over too if the team does have the ball down in this area. And therefore, again, this is another way that Chelsea can really dominate the pitch. On top of that, both these players are also very good at passing the ball. So again, we've seen Cancelo make through balls to Jackson. Lavia can do that as well, but he's also a Swiss Army knife. When he gets the ball, he somehow is able to constantly turn and beat defenders that are right on him. Two players. He drops the shoulder, turns his head, does something, and actually creates this little bit of space. And when he does that, he's actually able to drive the ball towards the attacking third, and therefore, again, allows these players to open up. Defenders have to come out and actually to start defend him, which when that happens, he then creates these different areas. So he can play the ball to Neto, he can play the ball to Palmer, he can switch it over to Noni. There are multiple things that he can do when he does that, and Cancelo can also do that as well. But like I said, because of this is very difficult for teams to defend because there are so many different players that can come and attack them through the middle. And if you do try to stop the middle, that's where then you play the ball out to the outsides. You have Pedro Neto, you have Sancho, you have Mudryk. These players are so quick that you can play a ball in the space and they can run onto it, or they can dribble into that space, either or. And this isn't just the left side, it's the right side as well. We can even see Neto go on this side. We can see Sancho come in this area. There are so many versatile players in this squad right now that Chelsea are not just stuck to one area of how they want to attack. But That all being said, there is one thing we do need to look at, and that is Palmer and how important he is to this squad, because he is one of the players that really the ball does funnel through, whether, again, he's out on this right side. In the center, he has drifted to the left, but he's able to play in the multiple spots. If you do look at his heat map, he doesn't just sit in one area. He's constantly floating around because he's always trying to pick the ball up. And this is where Arsenal did a pretty good job, because they had Partey pretty much man-mark him throughout the match, but really, Palmer is the guy that really does dictate and operate this entire attacking third, because when he has the ball, he's turning and he's just taking on players and driving towards the goal. And when he does that, same thing I just showed before the Lavia, that players have to come on and defend him, and then he can just lay a ball off, whether to Neto, play a through ball to Jackson, or again, hit a shot from outside, because we have seen him do that before. And therefore, again, this is another key factor. So not only is the outside, where again, we can see players attacking this way, out on the wings, right down the middle with our defense and our midfield, but also Palmer can really be that small guy that can move in all these smaller areas. So therefore, Chelsea have so many chances to score a goal. And on top of that, which we made a video about before, is that Chelsea can hit teams on the counterattack. So again, when they are defending and they are all dropping back and teams are kind of hitting them, these players are so quick and so fast that when, say, Sanchez has the ball, plays the ball out to Neto or even Jackson, Colwell, these guys can play long balls over the top. And again, these players can hit quickly on the counterattack. And when they do that, it's very hard for defenses to get back in time. And it turns into a 3v2, a 2v1, whatever the case is. And Chelsea have been scoring a lot of goals this way this season. And when that does happen, they then can play possession ball throughout the entire match. Because once they do take the lead, they are able to spread out their entire team into multiple areas, which again makes it very difficult for teams then to try to win the ball back. And again, they can just defeat the team by just death by 1,000 passes. This team right now is looking so good that Chelsea do have the opportunity to make top four quite easily this season. But if things go in the right direction, which we've seen them do quite well this season, that they will be able to actually compete for the title this season. Now, again, it is fairly early in the season itself, but that being said, these players have the capability to go the distance, because not only do these players have the capability, Chelsea have a squad too that plays in the Europa League Conference that could also do quite well. So they have so many players that they can rotate in and out in all these positions, minus probably Palmer. So the fact that they have so much depth here really does allow them, when the schedule does get tougher this December, they are going to have plenty of players to come off the bench to go against all those tired legs. And even if they do pick up a few injuries throughout this season, they have multiple players that can definitely take in a lot of these roles. Overall, Chelsea is a team that most teams will fear this season, especially under Enzo Maresca. He has revolutionized this team to be so much better, not just defensively wise, but also attacking wise. There are so many different options that teams really do struggle when it comes to trying to stop them and attacking. Chelsea have scored so many goals this season, and there's so many more opportunities for them to keep winning each and every game. So that is all I have for you in this video. If you did enjoy this video, I greatly appreciate it if you do hit the like button and subscribe down below.